Hey guys, we are back again with another Dragonheir video, and in this video we'll be attempting a world record run for the Vortex. And I was waiting for this week particularly because the boss is going to be taking extra 30% fire damage. There was a window in which he was taking extra derivative damage, I think, but at that time I didn't really have the gear to really capture the world record. So this time I am going to be aiming for something bigger than this. So another one of my server mate has already scored like 268. My previous high was 245 million on this boss, but let's see if we can beat this score as well. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, this is going to be my team. The first off is going to be my Call of Lightning tank, which is Kairosos. Kairosos is wearing Drugo's Blast Jar. So what it does is that every 2 seconds there's a chance of it to like 30% chance to do fire damage. But additionally, this reduces the damage, incoming damage, by 15%. And that is going to apply to all of your allies. So it kind of improves your survivability throughout. Moreover, I have him in the 3-year emblem set. So what this does is, like, whenever he's going to ultimate, he's going to provide this 15% extra attack for 10 seconds. And this is going to go hand in hand with Flora's ultimate. I'm going to make sure that, you know, both my support, who's also in the 3-year emblem set, I stagger their ultimate so that 10-second bonus lasts throughout the cycles, right? Then we have Tonalanan. So even in a decked out, composition of legendaries, Tonalanan with Flora is just amazing. There hasn't been a champion that is released that is as good as her for me to replace her. So what I'm going to be using on her is going to be the Witch's Remain. So she's going to be my defense down. And for those of you who don't know, this Witch's Remain has a very interesting stuff. So it says that, you know, it has a chance to apply 60% chance to apply a defense penalty 2 on the target for 10 seconds. But what it doesn't say is that each of the hit of the ultimate has that chance. So since she's going to be hitting 5 times on her ultimate, I have a much higher chance of landing that defense penalty 2 because that is going to boost my damage, right? And she's going to be in the Gambler set, which has an additional chance to do true damage of 200% of the wearer's attack, right? And then we have crit damage. Try to build her as much with crit rate. So we do need 80% crit rate for her passive to conclude. Gains extra 20% crit rate. So we only need like 80% on her. So that's pretty much easy to build. I wish the crit damage was a bit higher, but right now this is probably the best set I have for her. Then we have Eric, another multi-hitter for his ultimate, and you really need multi-hitting champions with Flora. So if you don't have Eric right now, Eric is for free, by the way. But if you don't have somebody like Felicity, you don't have somebody like Tonalanan, then yeah, the options are pretty much stacked because you really need multi-hitting ultimates. He is going to be also in the 3-year the Gambler set, and we try to do more crit rate with him, but I think 49% is all I got. So it's pretty bad. I think I can improve it, but what I really want from him is extra attack because he's wearing the Dawn Pipe Organ and he's going to put out extra attack for my Flora. In this comp, the main source of damage is going to be Flora, so we want to have as much attack enlightenment on her. Then we have another support hero who I already talked about, Ogok. He's wearing the Solar King's Horn artifact, so whenever he's going to heal us, he's going to give us extra damage as well. And this is going to be a 3-year emblem set as well. So what I really focused on is getting his attack and enlightenment up because all his heals over here is based off of attack and enlightenment. So we want to get fully topped up whenever he does his ultimate. And then we have Flora, the queen of PvE. There is hardly a dungeon record that has her name on it. She's going to be in the Platinum chest, Platinum Knight set, and what this set does is it gives 30% extra damage whenever the ultimate is fully recharged. So your ultimate also does it. And what we want with her is that the reason for this Platinum chest is because whenever she does her ultimate, this Vortex is going to last for 10 seconds. So in that 10-second window, we have to do as much damage as possible. And whatever we are looking for is enlightenment chests, whatever enlightenment I can get, and attack. So all the pieces have to have those things. So this is a triple roll. There are some people who have quad rolls on enlightenment, so I do envy them. And this is actually a pretty good one. So if you are building a team and you do get skill haste plus attack percentage, keep it, because skill haste is also very important. That means my Flora can cycle through her abilities faster. Then we have the attack and looking for enlightenment bonus again. So this was the best one I had. Some crit rate is okay, but derivative damage cannot crit. And we have her exclusive artifacts. So this basically alleviates any wild successful check. So if you don't have her exclusive artifact, you need somebody who can provide the wild success rate increase. So somebody like Alfie is going to be great. But since we have our exclusive artifact, we don't really care about the wild checks, right? And this derivative damage is what we are looking for. The enlightenment bonus is much higher than the attack. I wish they would start saying how much enlightenment they take for derivative damage, because most of it is based off of the enlightenment, I feel like. So we do get 477 enlightenment, and we also have skill timings. So skill timings, Ogok and Kairosos are going to be at 20.4. I'm going to be manualing their first ultimate. And in the middle of the run, I will also need to manual the run. And then the difference between Flora's and... So the first three ultimates, right? The differences are going to be... Let's just make it 11.7 to be consistent. Yeah. So there's going to be a 0.2 second interval between each of these ultimates. So Flora's ultimate is going to go first. Then it's going to be Tonalan, and then it's going to be Eric. So once I make the changes to the first skill, this regular skill interval timing will make sure that this synergy stays, right? So let's jump right into the run and I'll explain it. So first off, I'm going to be canceling the ultimates. I'm going to be manualing the first one and the second one for Ogok. So right here, I'm going to manual, so I get the attack bonus right away, and then I'm going to shut it off. So we place that defense down. We're already hitting for like 400 derivative damage, which is insane. 504,000. So that's probably the highest I've seen. I think this is previously it was 450, 460, something like that. So the Call of Lightning target is going to be my Kairosos, and the way I've staggered the ultimate, if you've seen, is that Kairosos is going to ultimate. So now I've got an ultimate with Ogok. Let me just set it up. And Kairosos is going to ultimate. So there's a delay when the force skill activates and when it hits. So see, there's this much delay, and it takes 10 seconds to reach the Call of Lightning. So my idea is when I do his ultimate, I am having attack down on 3 of the boss's skill: his last skill, his first skill, and his Call of Lightning. The Ogok is basically there to do his ultimate, and it's a very interesting ultimate. It does immortality on everybody else. And before this strike, there's going to be on this strike, the boss will place defense down. And what you want is like to do the ultimate right before, so that you are unkillable for this skill. But right after that, somewhere around here, you're fully healed. So he will fully heal and cleanse the debuff, right? And you will see that my champions will be at no HP very time soon during this third skill. And this is what you want, because there's a delay in the healing and the buff application. So it's very, very powerful in Vortex fight, especially on stage 4. On stage 3 and 2, you have a little bit more wiggle room to use somebody else. But on stage 4, Ogok is just so good that I'm even contemplating that whether the next season, who's going to be my healer for this team. Because if I have to continue to use Flora, I will need some better healers. And that's pretty much it for the setup. I think I haven't missed anything, but I'll see you guys at the end of the run. So there you go. We are like 7 million short on 300 million. I am going to try this again. I'm very curious like I can reach 300 million or not. Maybe not today, maybe throughout the week. I'm going to see if I can reach the 300 million mark. It will be pretty cool just for bragging rights, I guess. But yeah, this was pretty much about it. And as you can see, like 85% of the damage is coming from a single unit. And I think this is part of the game that they need to address. Like elemental exclusives can be good and can be strong. I am fine with that. But for something as important as Vortex, right? Like it's fine if they're strong in PvP because honestly nobody cares about PvP. But in PvE where the rankings on the Vortex are very, they matter a lot for your end season rewards. The question is like, should Lothair and Flora be as strong as some of the other derivative damage dealer like Vacania, or you have Primster, you have Evelios, you have so many other damage dealers who depend on derivative damage, but their damage is nowhere near what a Flora team can do. So it really begs the question on how much of a nerf should be there to account for this. But yeah, curious what do you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think of the team? What do you guys think of the run? And will I be able to reach 300 million? That's the next question. But until then, I'll catch you guys next time.